You are listening to I'm Refocused podcast with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
This is I Am Refocused podcast, and today, man, you know what time it is. It's Thursday. Shout out to Rico Rodriguez, Rockafellas Barber Shop. If you are here in San Antonio, make sure you stop by, get your hair cut by the finest, the dopest place in San Antonio. Yeah, I said that. I put that out there. Yeah. Today, we are here with our special guest, Walter Perry. He is the founder of Suit Up. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, brother.
And, you know, tell us, let's just dive in, man. Tell us about life, man. Tell us a little bit about your childhood, man, growing up.
Well, you know, I grew up in San Antonio. I'm from the east side, and everybody knows that during those times, there was a mix of good and bad. And what I mean by good and bad was that we still had, you know, family traditions. You know, we still ate at the same time. You know, during the summers, we went to the Boys and Girls Club. Mm-hmm. You know, we did childhood things, but in the midst of that, we grew up, you know, around crack. That epidemic started. Then the gangs, and then, you know, our fathers and mothers being addicted to drugs, we got abandoned. And so a lot of us kind of banded together as youngsters, and we ended up forming gangs. And some of us who got with the wrong crowd ended up getting in trouble, which was something that, for me, believe it or not, the gang didn't get me in trouble. I got myself in trouble. And what I mean by that is that most of the times I got arrested was because of stuff that I wanted to do. It wasn't anything that the gangs told me to do. And boredom was one of the main things that got people in trouble, a lot of these kids. And so I was one of those kids who got bored a lot. So, you know, growing up was kind of up and down, you know. Mm-hmm. On some things, you know, you kind of want to say it affected me to the point to where I can't come back, but then you always think about a childhood memory that kind of, you know, makes you say, nah, man, my childhood wasn't that bad, man. Things was kind of good, man. Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of what my childhood was like. It was up and down.
And tell us, how about school, you know, growing up, going to school from, like, middle school, high school, you know. Tell us a little bit about the atmosphere, you know, in classes. And, you know how it is when kids are growing up. You have good vibes and you got some bad vibes. Mm-hmm. You know, and some is just in between. Tell us, how was school for you? Like, did you like classes or?
Well, I love school. I went to Gates Elementary, and anybody that went to school with me, we were all class clowns. We were all funny. Cutting was one of the big things that I did. That's what I'm known for around the city, as being one of the funniest people, even though I don't do stand-up. I am one of the funniest people in San Antonio. I mean, I'm one of the best cutters. So that's legendary. But scholastically, education was taken very serious by us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids, we used to race to turn our homework in. Oh, wow. We would get mad if somebody got a better grade than us. And if you came around, you was acting dumb, you didn't want to read in class, nobody really wanted to talk to you, because we were about education. We was about competition back then. And so no matter if it was basketball, no matter if it was doing your homework, I don't care if it was drawn in a straight line. All of the kids were competing back then, and so that's why it kind of befuddles me now to see kids not even trying. If they don't believe that they're going to just outright get it or win, they're not even going to try. And so
that's true.
Back then it was just different. You know, everybody wanted it. Maybe because we didn't have much, and maybe because so much of this stuff wasn't around. We use our imagination a lot. And so your imagination and your creativity played a big part in how you view your life and how things happen. You know what I'm saying? So that goes back to being bored. If you're always bored, more than likely you're gonna come up with destructive type of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If the wrong influence gets around you. But if you're around good influences, you're never going to be bored. And so growing up in school, I was never bored. I never missed a day. Even though you know what I'm saying, things wasn't always good at home, I never missed a day at school. I love my teachers. I love eating at school. The food was real good. So those was most of my great childhood memories about just being in school with my friends and stuff. So I don't have any bad memories. You know, I made good grades. And when I didn't make good grades, it was because I didn't try. So that's about all I can say about school. School was great.
And speaking of, you know, you saying school was great, how about your teachers? Did you have one teacher that had your back, that spoke some wisdom into your life?
I had a lot of teachers who loved me back then. And that's another thing about school, was that we had spirit moms. And what I mean by spirit moms was that, you know, you had teachers who like adopted you and called you their son or daughter, and they did stuff for you. Like all right, I played football. I had a spirit mom, and like every football game, she would bring me this big bag just full of candy and just balloons and gifts every game.
Wow.
And so she would come and check on me in class, and I had her for class. And so a lot of students had spirit moms and spirit dads. This is when people weren't trying to touch on your kids. They was really trying to guide them. Wow. And those secondary moms and dads, those spirit moms and spirit dads at school made a difference sometimes when things wasn't right at home. You had somebody you could talk to at school, like those spirit moms and spirit dads that understood you. They didn't get into your business too much, but if they felt like something was really, really, really a problem, they would get them, your parents, and the principal in the office, and then they would discuss it.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's the type of lifestyle I came from. As far as school growing up, I had teachers that loved me. I'm talking about to the point to where they cried when I went to prison. They all wrote letters on my behalf. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And to see somebody like me, who they knew was going through a lot, but still was able to be intelligent and be hungry for life, to be thrown away to prison. That was heartbreaking to not only my teachers, but to the whole school.
Yeah.
The whole school was heartbroken when I went to prison. So, you know, it's right now, it's full circle for me right now. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of stuff that I didn't get to do, prom, graduation with high school friends, I'm getting to do it as an adult now. I've been to prom, like, you know what I'm saying? Through my program, you know what I'm saying? We went to the prom. I graduated from St. Philip's College, and I'm finna graduate from Texas A&M. And then now, you know what I'm saying, I'm getting a chance to see my kids do that.
Yeah.
And school is everything to me, you know what I'm saying? My education is, without my education, I just really feel like a lot of things would have possibly happened, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I
just took it serious, though.
Yeah, and I just feel like if you want to be something in life, your education, you need the education to help you navigate through the obstacles that's gonna, you know, come your way.
Because I like how you're talking about education being a very important piece in your life, and how it's giving you these opportunities later in life. Mm-hmm. Because, like you said, you started young and you had teachers who really care about your education.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you got bad kids. You know, some teachers might feel like, man, this is overwhelming. Let's just go through this.
What do you call bad? What are bad kids? I'm not even trying to argue that point.
Oh, no.
What do you consider bad kids?
Bad kids. That's a good question.
That's a great question.
It's a great question that we can discuss, because
who has the authoritative definition for bad kids?
Man.
Because
yeah, I see where you're going. Because
a kid that you may call bad
may not be bad.
The next person may call the next president of the United States.
True.
It's all about, okay, I have this saying, dead teachers can't teach live students.
Yes.
Dead teachers can't teach live students. Meaning, if you're a teacher that comes into a classroom and you're not enthusiastic about teaching, and you're not enthusiastic about your students who are in the class, those young, hungry minds who trust you, if you're not that type of teacher, or, you know, you worked hard to get here, if you're not preparing yourself, your lesson plans, I know they have set lesson plans, but teachers always have a way to teach. You know what I'm saying? Teach you how to learn. If you're not the type of teacher who can teach your kids how to learn, not just teach them how to memorize the stuff, teach them how to learn, open up their minds and think.
Yeah.
If you're not that type of teacher, then maybe that's not the profession you need to be doing. Maybe you need to be somewhere else, answering the telephone somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because our schools are being divvied up And I'm not finna speak down on charters. I'm not finna speak up on charters. I'm not finna speak down on nobody. But our schools in my neighborhood on the east side are divvied up. We have 3 idea schools within the 3-mile radius of each other. Well, I said 5-mile radius. Then within that, you have public schools. Then you have private Catholic schools in there. Okay, in my neighborhood alone in Wheatley Heights, we have the highest number of children to adults. I think it's 51 to 49, something like that, but we have more children in our neighborhood. So that means all these schools are divvying up our kids. So our kids in our neighborhoods are not really growing up with each other. They're growing up in the same neighborhood, but they hardly see each other, except maybe in the summer.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So you have a whole neighborhood that's going to all these schools, and these kids are growing up not even knowing each other. So when they get older, I don't have no attachment to this neighborhood. I'm out of here.
That's
so,
true. But I like what you said, because what I meant was, when I say bad kids, teachers, me growing up in school, we always had teachers that would point out bad kids. And I happen to hang out.
Or they point out kids they don't like.
True. Because I'll say, like, me growing up, I guess you can say I was kind of with the bad kids. You know what I'm saying? So what I meant by that was, when teachers are teaching kids, like you were saying, I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying, is how they're using their style of teaching. Mm-hmm. Because they don't know how much of influence they really are to these kids every day. Like, they see them every day. They're depending on their skills to teach for them to be successful.
I agree. And you know what? I'm going to give you a perfect example of teachers teaching kids how to think and learn. I was going to summer school, and like I said, I was a real big class clown. And it was a teacher named Miss Bach. She was at Brackenridge. Anybody that's from Brackenridge, y'all can tell me about Miss Bach. Miss Bach was my teacher. And I used to come in class every day, and I used to just be cutting on people. And it lasted about 20 minutes before she was laughing too. Finally, she said, Mr. Perry, I'll make you a deal. If you can come in, start your work, let me get my lesson plan, and y'all get to work and y'all finish, I promise you, last 15 minutes of class is yours. Every class.
Wow.
I said, really? She said, yeah. So one day I was doing my work, right? And then I heard this lady go, this girl in my class, she raised her hand. They said, yeah, Miss Bach, it's time for Walter. I looked up, I was like, oh, it is. So the students used to hold me to that. Every 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes, I used to go down the road and just cut on people. Just look like your mama. And then but these were Hispanic kids and white kids I was doing this to, along with the black kids from Sound. Yeah. And they loved it because, I don't know, they just loved it. It was funny. But what that showed me was that teacher didn't hamper something that worked for me. Mm-hmm. What she did was used it to get me to get more into my lesson. And I think if teachers start tapping into those type of kids, you would get them to start doing what you really want them to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
because, today's world is crazy. They're putting labels on kids now.
Yes.
It's not like when I was going to school. I'm sure it wasn't like when you was going to school. Today, kids are facing social media pressure. They're facing, if they're not able to tame themselves, they're put on a label as, the whole list of, attention disorder or whatever. Like, it's all these different labels that they try and put on these kids today, and it's just so much pressure now, because now they're dealing with all these platforms, and they're also dealing with school.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not fair to the kids. And what I mean by that is adults don't realize that kids are human. We think we own our kids, and we don't own our kids. Our job is to We have them. We got to guide them to a point to where they're able to take care of themselves.
Give them the fundamentals.
And that's it. Well, some parents own something else, because I've been on it before too. But if you can have a bad day as a parent, your child is allowed to have a bad day at school, man.
They're only kids, right?
Kids, you don't know what this child heard you say during the week. You don't know what you probably told your kid. We yell at our kids. Our kids can't go nowhere. They got to stand there, listen to it, go in their room. They got to stand there. We get mad, we can jump in our car, drive off, go mess around, go drink at the bar, relieve ourselves. But then our kid
go to the room.
Have to go to the room and look at the wall. Yeah. And, we wonder why they lash out. And we wonder why, they all of a sudden shoot somebody or beat the hell out of somebody somewhere, because they take so much of a beating from us, and then we don't give them that release to go say, you know what, look, take this $20 and go to the movies, man. Go think about it, man. Still be a parent. Get on them and then give them that release. Man, you need to get out the house for a little bit, man. Go into the park or something. Let dad cool off, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to, no, you ain't gonna turn off everything, you know what I'm saying? Take all the food out the thing and got them hungry for 3 days. That ain't parenting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's abuse, and parents gotta realize that your kids are your best asset. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not your car, it's not your house, man. It's your future. That's your best asset right there. And if you don't protect that, God is not going to bless you with nothing else. And those are big facts. He's just not going to bless you. If you're not taking care of your kids, don't expect full compensation for half-time work. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. It just don't add up like that.
Man, this is a good conversation. I like the direction you're going. Let's get back to a little bit to when you end up doing time, and talk about that period of your life where you had to just, tell us what did you have to do to keep your head up and just have that clarity for what you want in your life.
Well, let me just say this: for every dude that's been locked up, right before they catch the case, they always talk to some type of female. Whether it's mama, girlfriend, daughter, it's always a female like, you have to have done something for them. Like my mama told me, don't leave the house. I left anyway, and I called my case. My homeboy that was in there, he had to go to the store for his girl, but he went and did something else, and he got locked up. Another dude supposed to have went and picked up his daughter for lunch, but he went and did something else. So the last person he talked to was a female. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going somewhere with this. Females' intuition, they feel stuff. You know what I'm saying? My mama felt that.
That's right.
And I didn't listen to her. So I ended up getting locked up. And so when I got my time, as soon as they gave me the sentence, the first person I called was my mom, because my mom did time too. And so she just knew the game. And the first thing she said was, when you get to the penitentiary, I need you to go to truck driving, and I need you to go to college. Don't do nothing else. She said, just go in there. She said, but while you in county, they finna stop selling cigarettes, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send you some money. You buy up all the cigarettes you can with this money, and then when they stop, you sell the cigarettes up in there, because I'm not gonna be able to send you no money. Because she was getting ready to go too. They had just ran in our house when I was locked up. And then my mama got a blue warrant. And then she ended up getting ready to go, but she came to see me, and then she sent me that money and told me what to do. You know what I'm saying? So she wasn't advocating that I do that, but she knew what I was facing up in there. I was just turned 18 years old. And she said, don't cry. She said, just don't cry. She said, don't get him that. She said, just do what I tell you. And when you get up in there, just keep doing it. So I followed that regimen up in there. But see, my mama taught us so much when we was young. So, I was already wise. I had an old soul already, because I was raised by my grandparents. So I was like, I had the yes sir, no sir. I had the manners already down. It was just a matter of navigating through this new world of prison, learning the language, learning how they do stuff up in here. The biggest thing was learning how to deal with the law in there. See, because when I went in there, you can beat the police up and not get a case. But while I was in there, they changed the law to where you get a free world case. Well, there was a situation when I got into TDC and I was going through like this little transfer facility. They had gave me a job in the kitchen. And I tell people this all the time. The first time I ever heard a white person call me nigga was in prison. Never in my life did I go through that. Not here in San Antonio. I fought some Mexicans or something, but it wasn't behind them doing that. It was about just fighting. But I never had that type of racism happen like that until I got into prison. And he called me a nigga. He said, "You black nigga?" And I looked at him, and he was a little scrawny little white boy too. And I just grabbed him and just pop, pop, pop. And then I pushed him down, and I just looked at him. And then this old man said, "Oh yeah, they finna come for you." He said, "Man, just cover your mouth." Cause I had gold teeth at the time. And he said, "Man, just cover your mouth when they come in." So they came in, they yanked my little butt up and started beating me up, and they tried to kick me in my mouth, but I covered my mouth up. And they beat me up about 20 minutes and then threw me up in this thing called administrative segregation. And that's where it's like lockup in lockup. And I was in there for like 45 days. Wow. And that was a life-changing moment though, because before that happened, I was getting into a lot of trouble on that farm. Not just with the guards, but I had a few fights over there. And my homeboy told me that somebody was talking about stabbing me over there. So when he told me that, that's when that incident happened. And I ended up going for 45 days, and doing that 45 days, the dude that was supposed to have done it, he got transferred out of there. Wow. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is God moving. Yeah. But in 45, so let me explain to y'all about the ag seg thing. Lock up and lock up. They take all your clothes. You don't get no sheet. You get just a mattress. Then maybe they'll come in and give you a sheet. Maybe. Depending on if you cool or not. But I didn't get a sheet until about 5 days in. They feed you 2 times a day. But luckily during that time, TDC was cooking pretty good. So, we still got good food in there. Because TDC, they grow everything. That's the most self-sufficient unit ever. But what they did do, they brought the library around 2 times a week. Wow. They brought the library around.
Like a bookmobile on wheels?
Yeah, they had the book on wheels. And so at the top, they had the Bibles, another level. They had like novels like Longhorn. You gotta read about him. Longhorn's cool. And then Longhorn, right? And then at the bottom they had like dictionaries, thesauruses, textbooks. I said, give me a Bible, give me as many long arms as you can give me. And then give me the dictionary, give me the thesaurus, and give me that book about health. It was an anatomy book. I read all those books in 10 days. Wow. Stayed up all night. So now I'm 15 days in. Still got 30 more days in here. It was a metamorphosis that happened in there that was pretty much saying, you need to get your head together because you got a 12-year sentence, dog. Wow. You're not going to make it out of here. So you need to get it together. I'm 18. I turned 18 in there. So I'm just like sitting there the whole time. And all of a sudden, I just started writing in there. I just started writing. Whatever came to my mind, I just started writing. And I had accumulated, I was there 7 years plus. I had accumulated a lot of writings about that much. The whole time. I started writing almost every day I was in there. But that time in there, shaped me for my time. Right. And then when I got out, I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't, read.
Wow.
My mind, it was like I had read so much. When somebody give me something, I just, it was because it wasn't the stuff that I was reading.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Somebody gave me, a rap magazine, because, it was the Source magazine and all that back then. Somebody give me a rap magazine, I'll be like, oh, man, you ain't got no,
no dictionary.
You ain't got no dictionary. And then I started getting stuff like Scrabble. I got into chess. I wasn't playing dominoes no more. It was a lot of stuff I stopped doing, but it was more on the level of me growing up into a man, just trying to figure out who I was. And so after the education, you had to find your spiritual. And so that's where it kind of got tricky for me then. That was a real tricky place because I went to the church originally because I read the Bible cover to cover in there. And so I had questions. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm finna go to church. I'm finna talk to them. So I went up in there, and they didn't help me. I was asking questions like, hey, why is this? And they went to this, well, if God wanted you to know, he would. And for somebody that was young, black, and impressionable like that wasn't going to do for me. Like I needed answers. So I just I was like, I ain't thinking about no religion right now. It's the penitentiary. Ain't nobody trying to be religious in no penitentiary. So I just started getting more educational and stuff. And so it's a lot. So I'm not even gonna go into all of it, but I'm just saying for educational purposes, I ran into a lot of guys that just knew a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I'm
talking about guys that knew how to do dentures. I knew dudes who knew how to make saddles. I knew dudes who it was the penitentiary had some of the most amazing people on earth.
Believe it.
When I say some of the most amazing people on earth, I'm not exaggerating. Some of your brightest minds are behind those walls and never getting out. Yeah, I'm talking about it's guys in there. You can throw them numbers and they yeah, that's you never seen a computer. How do you do that? You know what I'm saying? So that was some of the stuff I saw in there. Did you want me to keep going?
Nah, man. This is perfect because we're right up on our first break. So we're going on the next half of the show, man. We're going to dive more into that and also the transitioning of getting out and forming this Suit Up nonprofit organization. So you guys don't touch your smartphones because we are on iHeartradio. This is I Am Refocused Podcast, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Rockafellas Barbershop. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be blessed and be glad in Him. Today I want to introduce myself. My name is Rico Rodriguez at Rockafellas Barbershop here in San Antonio, Texas, 1733 Babcock Rd. My phone number is 210-782-5188. And again, we do walk-ins on Sundays. You are listening to I Am Refocused Podcast on iHeartradio. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Does your website need more traffic? Well, visit overflowcafe.com today. They make websites popular, and over 41,000 people use their service to gain more customers. They are winning our business. What about you? Visit overflowcafe.com today.
Hey, we are back. This is I Am Refocused Podcast. You have another story that happened like towards the end before you start transitioning out to start working again and then forming the nonprofit Suit Up.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I was in SEG, I had, you remember when I told you I was writing and stuff? Mm-hmm. Well, 18 years old, like I was fresh out of high school, so I had like a lot of stuff going on, and plus I was in drama, so I wrote 3 plays in there, and one of the plays was called Shine. It was about this kid, really loosely about my life, this kid who got into the wrong crowd, and he ended up getting shot, and then, he's in the transition period where, it's like the ghost talking to him and showing him, what he should have did better. Well, when I got out of SEG, I had ran into these cats that, I had came down with. Well, one of them was holding the letter in his hand. He was just holding it. I said, man, you been holding that letter a long time. What you gonna do? He was like, he got a little offended. So later on, I walked up to him. I said, say, man, I wasn't trying to be funny about that. What's up? He was like, man, I can't read. And he's like, man, I know something's happening. So I read the letter for him, and then I helped him write it. Then he wasn't the only one. Come to find out, it was 3-4 other guys like that. They older than me. So what that told me was like, oh, dang, these dudes here, even though they were old school, like gangsters, because they were showing me pictures with them Cadillacs and money and all that, but you can't read. You don't know how to write. Your mama telling you something, but you don't even know what's going on. So wow. that right there kind of messed me up. But I didn't use that to like, discourage them. I used that as an opportunity to like get to know people. Yeah. I had really good handwriting. So I would write letters for them, and then I wrote poetry. So I would write poems. You know what I'm saying? Like dudes who wasn't getting money on their books, I would like say, man, I'm gonna write a letter to your girl, and I'm gonna write a poem and stuff, so that way she starts sending money to your books. So I started writing letters for dudes, and then to like get their family to come see them, because they don't know how to write, to tell them that. And sometimes their people didn't even know they was out, they was locked up. Wow. So you write them the letter, you send it, the next thing you know, they whole family there because somebody got wind to them. So I became like, that little brother. And then when I had to play, I was like, I'm thinking about, I went to the chapter and I was like, I'm thinking about doing this play. Don't matter who's in it, Muslim, Christian, it don't even matter. Mm-hmm. But it was the Muslims who said, we'll do it. I was like, all right. So, brothers, damn sure will. We put on that play, and I think that unit held 3,000 people. Man, we had a sellout crowd. We had to do 2 different shows. Wow. We had to let one half of the building come to the gym, then let the other half of the building come to the chapel, because we was doing that. And so that was a life-changing moment for me, because this is the penitentiary. Yeah. Man, we doing plays. Man, dude is over here singing. These grown men crying. I mean, man, it was life-changing. So I went straight to my cell that night, and I wrote this thing called The Plan. And I drew this pyramid. And then I wrote the bottom. I said the foundation. I said right here, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And at the top, it was 20 years from now, what I want to be doing. And so I wrote down on each tier what's supposed to be going on at that time and all the stuff I want to do. And then this pyramid, you turn it to the back, and it's the other half. Like I tried to make it like a prism through the paper, so because it represent my dimensions. It like all the levels I went through, streets, the penitentiary, then resurrecting my whole spirit and my mind to adapt to what's going on, and then running into those brothers, teaching them how to read, and then them teaching me about stuff, about life that I ordinarily probably wouldn't have learned from, anybody else. So it was like a win-win for me. And so when I did the plan showed that, 1, I want to graduate college. 2, I want to own a home. 3, I want to start my own organization. 4, I definitely want to be married and in a position where me and my wife are both doing something. It took a while, but you know what I'm saying, I'm there now. And then, but another thing that I want to do eventually, if God allows me to do, is write a book, and not an autobiography book. I'm currently writing a suit-up manual. How to get these young people motivated. You don't have to have a degree to motivate kids. You just gotta have a truthful spirit.
Right.
Kids know when you're lying.
Come from the heart.
Yeah. As long as you come from your heart, kids will take your direction. Mm-hmm. Kids will forgive you as long as they know that in your heart they can see love. Mm-hmm. If they don't see love, I don't care how much money you give a child, I don't care how much accolades you give them, they're never gonna go the direction you want them to go. Never. Because I was that child. And so when I got ready to come out of prison, I had to prepare myself because, one, I had 2 sons waiting on me. You know what I'm saying? My kids were born when I was in prison. You know, their mothers were pregnant when I was locked up. So I'm one statistic. Kids out of wedlock, I'm black, went to the penitentiary at a young age, was in the game. I mean, look at that. All those odds right there against me. Yeah. And yet my heart and in my mind, I still believe that stuff did not matter. That stuff did not matter to me. I knew I was going to get out of here and do something. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I always took risk out here. And whether I passed or failed, at least I could say, well, I did that. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to be the dude to say, man, I wish I did that. No, I'm going to do it. And then, you know, whatever happens, happens. So, you know, if I could survive the penitentiary, if I could survive people shooting at me, if I could survive, you know, being in environments that was not safe when I was a kid, then I know I can survive building up a program and helping kids out here. Yeah, I'm going to survive that.
When you got out, what was the transition like? What was the first step when you got back into working? And tell us, after you got settled and working, when did this idea of Suit Up come to reality?
Well, the first thing you do when you get out is get all your paperwork straight. Get your ID, Social Security card, get everything that you need to get your life in order, get that straight. The second thing you do, if you got kids, go to your kids. Go straight to your kids. Don't be playing around or nothing like that. So for me, that's what I did. When I got home, I got right on the job. Got my son. Like I jumped on it. And so the idea of Suit Up was already in there. It just wasn't called Suit Up because I was getting prepared in the penitentiary. I went to college in the penitentiary. I was 4 classes away from getting my associates in the penitentiary. You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't in there just... The biggest myth is that the stuff you watch on TV. A lot of that is just Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff you be seeing, that stuff don't be going on up in there. Some of it do, but some of it does, but not that stuff. There's school going on. I was driving trucks in there. I got my truck driver license. Like, I was off the unit. I wasn't even on the unit most of the time. I'd get up in the morning, get in the 18-wheeler. With no guard in there. I could have just took off and drove and came to San Antonio. But, I knew I was locked up, but it never felt like I was locked up because my time was mine. And I did my time. My time wasn't doing me. You know what I'm saying? You got to do your time. You got to do your time. You got to put in your mind, this is what I'm finna do while I'm here. And if that unit doesn't offer you what you need to put in all the requests you can to get off of that unit and go to the unit that has that, because that's what I did. I had to put in requests. I had to get to know certain rank on the unit so I can go say, man, I'm trying to get the truck driver, man. You think you can make a phone call? And they do it. It just, you have to acclimate yourself into that system. You have to be a part of that system in there, or you're gonna get sucked in. You're gonna end up getting, somebody gonna be busting your back out up in there. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that.
When you started the organization Suit Up for young people, tell our audience what was the mission for this organization? Break it down for our audience.
The mission for Suit Up is to provide the resources and the necessary tools to help you become self-sufficient. Self-sufficiency is like gold. You know what I'm saying? When you're not dependent on anybody for your well-being, for your lifestyle, that is a very liberating feeling. How Suit Up, the actual name Suit Up started was when it was a guy named John Martin at St. Philip's College. I was going to St. Philip's during the early 2000s, and then I stopped, and then I ended up coming back. Well, I was in a situation where I was homeless. That's a long story, but I was homeless, and the first place I thought about going back to was school. So I had a couple of friends that had to pay my tuition for the spring because I wasn't eligible for the FAFSA. You know what I'm saying? And I had to do a semester, and then I can get it. And then so during that time, like I was basically just living out my car. You know what I'm saying? Like I would get to school about 6 o'clock in the morning, get involved whatever was at St. Philip's, and stay there till about 10 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have anywhere to go. And so Mr. Martin, he served as a big brother to me, and I told him what I wanted to do. I said, I ain't thinking about no streets. I really want to do something, not just in my community. I just want to do something in my life, man. I just don't feel like I'm going anywhere. And so there was this speech, and I didn't have any clothes. And he took me to a suit store and got me a suit. Just bought it. He invested in that. You know what I'm saying? That was a major investment. And it changed my life right then and there. I said, man, this man got me a suit. And it was really emotional for me at that time. Nobody was doing nothing for me. People was trying to take. And for somebody to give me something at that time, it served as a reminder that God didn't leave, that He's there. And that's when I was like, man, I gotta stay suited up. I was like,
that's good.
Man, that's good.
Yeah.
I said, suit up, get ready, stay ready. There's a saying in the penitentiary, I stay ready, keep from getting ready. You know what I'm saying? So that's what suit up really came. Suit up means stay ready, keep from getting ready. That's what suit up came from in there. Being aware of your surroundings, being ready for the next thing, because anything can pop up from up in there. But just like in real life, no matter where you at, you can be in a prison in your mind. I could have let my poverty, my homelessness be my prison. But by him giving me that suit, it woke something up in me to say, Walter, you got to try a little harder. So I went through the next semester, got my FAFSA, ended up getting an apartment, and I graduated, and then ended up getting a truck driving job. And I was thinking about suit up as I was driving, like how I wanted to look and all this stuff here. And then, I was like, God, give me a sign. I expect this sign. I was driving down 35 and the truck hit my truck, my 18-wheeler from behind. He was texting and driving. So that was the end of my driving career. So that was another fear that I had, like, man, like I can't drive. That was my money. What I'm gonna do? And so when I was in that rehab, I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair. I was on a walker. Then I was on crutches. It was like a step, but I could not walk for 30 days. So while I sat there, I was just thinking about, okay, how I want to do it. So it was just piece by piece. But then when I got to Sage, that's kind of when everything kind of started coming together. Because, look, I'm going to just say this. People may not agree with everything I may say, and I don't agree with what everything everybody else say. But one thing I can admit is that organization right there gave me the knowledge and the confidence to go into a boardroom.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Man, that's good.
To look at people like the CEO of Valero, to look at the mayor, to look at people, that little tiny organization right there enhanced me with the tools and the knowledge to, like, say I can do that.
Right.
Had not I been at that stage for that little 2-year period, I probably wouldn't be doing this. It's that it was that foundation, because I was allowed to make mistakes. I was allowed to be creative over there. I was allowed to go into the community, voice my opinion. I was allowed, up to a certain point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that as like, man, a lot of people had a hand in where I'm at today. The stuff that I learned, the people I was around, even Epic. Being in Epic and just being around the colleagues and stuff.
Yeah.
That did a lot for somebody from the hood.
Yeah.
You understand? Somebody from the pen. That did a lot for me. And so, Suit Up is so much. It's hard to like pinpoint exactly where it was, because it's been stages and stages leading up to where it is now. And I have to give everybody who had a hand in it, even former Mayor Taylor. She was the one who opened the door. Like, hey, come on, man. Like, look, I'm gonna talk about you, good and bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether I agree with you or not, that lady opened up the door, man. That lady said, "I see something in you, Walter, and I'm finna introduce you to some people that can show you." Because I went to her first when I got my nonprofit. When I first started, I went and got the DBA, and I showed it to her. And me and her had a really good relationship. And I showed it to her. She said, "Man, this is great. I'm really proud of you." She said, "Matter of fact, I'm finna put you somewhere where somebody can teach you how to run your own." And that's how I ended up at Sage.
Wow.
And they taught me. And it was rough teaching, but I have to give credit where credit is due.
Right.
That lady, Miss Gorman, she was hard about how she wanted things done. She's very particular, but one thing I can say is that my professionalism wouldn't be where it is right now if they didn't invest what they did, because she put us in classes. Like I'm halfway done with my economic development finance degree because of Sage. So so there's a lot of stuff that people may hear me say about stuff, but hey, man, I'm from here, and I take pride in the goodness of this walk.
Right.
And so I have to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, because the journey, you go back to the first half of the show.
Yeah.
Talking about your teachers and that one teacher that will show to your football games.
Yeah.
With the candy and all that. But it wasn't just the materials.
It's never been about the materials.
She was there.
It was about holding me accountable. And I think that's what I appreciate out of people, even though I like the way people may hold me accountable, because we all have our approaches. And up until that time, even Miss Gorman, you know what I'm saying, Archie Meese, when she was there too, they served as like teachers, and they held you accountable for stuff. But that's why I'm here now. That's why Suit Up is what it is, because it's about accountability. When I talk to those kids, I can't lie to those kids. I have to watch them. When people want to come in and engage with those kids, I have to watch these. I have to I have to screen you. You know what I'm saying? Because these kids are trusting me to be there for them, and so our program is not just for boys, they're for kids. We started out with boys because Sam Houston, they said they had a real bad problem with with the boys up there. But I ended up working with about 30 or 40 of those boys back in 2015, and we ended up suiting up most of them for prom and graduation. those kids were great. They were facing challenges, like a lot of our kids in San Antonio.
Yeah.
A lot of them go home, don't have food. A lot of them go home, it's a sorry parent there. A lot of them go home, the parent's not there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't got a home to go to. They're living from pillar to post. And so we expect these kids to perform at levels we can't even perform at. And so it's unfair. It's just really unfair. And so Suit Up prepares them for that unfair world. It gets them equipped. We start them off just getting to know them. Like the first week is all about just getting to know you, talking to you, just getting that vibe, and just I'm Mr. Perry, and then it's kind of like the orientation. We signing papers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the second week you come in there, we talk about anything from social media. We talk about how to put on deodorant. We talk about puberty. Young boys, you know what I'm saying? We talk about sex. Mm-hmm. We talk about, yes sir, no sir, introducing yourself. We do demonstrations on ironing, tie-tying. One thing about our kids, every kid that go through Suit Up, everybody knows how to tie now. So if you don't learn anything in that program, you definitely gonna learn how to tie in there. And so we do that, and then we also do things like experimental learning. We do like field trips. We go into the community. We go into community gardens so they can learn about nature. They can learn about gardening and stuff like that. We took along with us. We took some kids to the beach because we also have a nonprofit called First Exposure Inc. And what it is that it's our nonprofit is basically about exposing kids to positive and new experiences. Yeah. So like kids that are in bad situations, we take them and put them in positive situations. And say for instance, my first experience with a gun was in a game. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So when I saw a gun, I didn't mean shoot somebody. Well, we ended up taking some kids to a hunting range where somebody showed them how to break down a rifle and told them the importance of using a gun. That was their first experience, their first exposure to a gun. It wasn't with a game. So now, knowing about guns, you mostly use them for hunting animals and stuff like that, and protection, as opposed to walking down the street or walking into a school and shooting up kids. Right. We talk about those types of things. We talk about mass shootings. We talk about Black Lives Matter. We talk about Trump. We talk about everything because these kids are living in the real world, and to shield them from that world and not prepare them to or give them the education to deal with that is unfair. It's unfair.
It makes a big difference when they can be prepared versus you're in this bubble. And then when that bubble bursts,
what happens usually?
It's like, panic mode. Like, I don't know how to deal with this. I never seen this,
So many parents come to my program after their kids have exploded.
Yeah. And it's more work.
It's more work, and not only is it more work, well, parents make the biggest difference out of everybody. Yeah. You got parents that don't want to parent. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to parent. People say, well, what does that mean? They don't want to parent. You don't want to talk to your kids. You rather just say, go to your room. You rather just take away stuff from them. You rather just buy it for them. Ask the average parent, can you name your kids' teachers? Exactly. What's your kid's principal's name? Did your child eat today? What they eat for lunch? Do you know what your child wore today to school? That stuff. What color shoes does your kid have on today when they left?
Wow. Yeah.
Or you have
parents.
You have students too, because when I worked in the public school,
who take off the clothes.
No, not that. But when the grades come out, And you have to go and get your grades. You couldn't get your report card unless your parent was with you.
And some kids
so
never got
ask
them.
me, Miss Reed, can you pretend to be my parent so I can get my report card?
See?
The parents are not there for them. They're not showing up for them. And that's a lot of students. And
I'm going to tell you something. I was one of these guys who walked around like, yeah, man, I take care of my kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm on child support, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Their mama get that check, you know what I'm saying? She should be spending it on them. But I wasn't spending time with them. And then when I wasn't doing nothing with them. Some parents get the kids, take them straight to another relative's house and drop them off and think, well, you're around my people, so you kind of around me. No, I'm not around you. Or you get the kid, and then first thing y'all do go up in the house and just sit there. You watch the TV in your room, and the kid doing their thing, and that's not spending time. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm not finna knock no daddies because mamas be out here like this too.
They do.
I'm speaking to parents. But I'm finna speak to the dads because I'm a father, and I was one of these guys who was raising other people's kids instead of my own.
Yeah.
It didn't work out with my ex-wife, so she got the kids. I got with somebody else. They had kids. I'm over here trying to make a family with them, but arguing with my baby mama about why I ain't finna raise my kids up because she tripping. That's not a man. That's not a father. And if you taking care of somebody else's kids and you're not even looking at your kids, that's not being a father. You got to go get your kids too. You know what I'm saying? It's not their fault that y'all didn't work out, and it's not their fault. You know what I'm saying, that y'all was arguing for whatever y'all arguing with. These kids need a father, and so for me, things was never working out. It was like I could never have nothing. I could never have enough money.
You was coming up short.
I kept coming up short. I was never keeping my jobs. I was just always it was always like this. It was like this pain in my stomach. I'm laying up with somebody who got kids, but my kids ain't here. No, that ain't gonna happen. So what I did was I ended up being single out here for a long, long time. And so when I got with my wife, I told her straight up, man, we trying to go anywhere, man. My kids need to be here. Because before I got with her, I made it my mission when I got off the street to get my own apartment that I was going to get my kids. That was my main mission, to have a place to where my kids can come. You know what I'm saying? To where I don't got to go pick them up and just ride them around for a few hours. I ain't doing that, man. I'm finna get involved in their life just like their mama is. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a situation where I wanted to go take them. I want to take my daughters to lunch, and I wasn't on the pickup list.
Yeah.
I was heated. I was heated.
We know Walter was heated.
But I ended up, I had the right paperwork, and I showed them, and they ended up putting me back on there. But the Suit Up program works with so many kids that are in that situation right there. We work with kids in all situations, all income levels. It doesn't matter your color, because we've gotten kids all the way from Bernie. And we work with kids from Judson, Sam Houston, MacArthur. What's that other one over there off of Judson?
Wagner?
Not Wagner. The one that's off of Judson and Star Road. It's a high school, Madison, yeah, Madison. So all those schools, plus the alternative schools, plus we worked with the municipal courts with the juveniles, and then the kids at Lanier High School. So we've worked in the last 4 years. We've worked with well over 500 kids, and we've suited up well over half of them. And the only reason we didn't suit up all of them was because of resources. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the reason why I'm here today, too, is to let everybody know that we are not tax exempt. We're 501c3. We're a private foundation. So we are family owned. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a family run organization. But Suit Up is not. Suit Up is the service that we give. You know what I'm saying? First Exposure is the umbrella that it's under. So, you know what I'm saying? So if anybody donate, you will donate to First Exposure Inc., and then we will fund Suit Up. Suit Up is a program up under that. I couldn't make Suit Up a nonprofit because Suit Up is so big.
Right.
Yeah.
It just couldn't be a nonprofit. It had to be for profit because the services we give are that valuable. Not only to the community but to the world. And the stuff that we're looking to do, we already rebranding. We have a 5K that's hopefully we got the last little hurdles we got to cross. Hopefully we can get the 5K going. That's going to run through MLK Park. And that's going to be historic, first time that's ever been done.
First annual.
Yeah, and so the reason why we're doing that is because we want to bring those communities together, but we also want to highlight the East Side and let people know that it's not all about shoot 'em up and bang bang and prostitution and drugs, that you got great people there, and we want to highlight the park and all the work that's been done in the park. We want to highlight the stadium, but we want to highlight the people. And the Eastside Boys and Girls Club is right there, so we're going to try to partner with them as well. And so that way we can give them a donation or try to find out some way we can raise some money with them. But our whole purpose is to promote the great work that's happening on the East Side. Councilman Shaw, I'm sure, is going to be in attendance with that, and I'm really glad. I feel like he hasn't given me his answer on whether he's going to run or not, but I need him to run because I'm going to run and I'm going to win.
Right.
So I want to beat him.
Challenge.
So, yeah, right. Challenge. So I'm just letting them know. But the reason for that 5K is built off of the work we do with the youth. And so any organization, anybody that just love kids and just, are involved with the betterment of kids, or the main thing is healthy living, with the kids.
Right.
How can they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch. They can get in touch with me about that at 210-980-1596. And if you want to email me, you can email me at suitupsanantonio@gmail.com and just let me know. But we haven't put out the official flyer yet because we're still waiting on a little permit thing to go through, and but that's in the works right now. So that's just one of our major events on top of what we do every year, which is the Teen Summit. We do that every year too, and that's just a way for us to get the families together because we work a lot with people who come back from prison. So that's a good way to what's the word I'm looking for, to ingratiate them? Is that ingratiate or integrate them back? Integrate them. Integrate them back into the community.
Yes,
and so, what better way than to have an event that you and your kids can be at, and then somebody like myself and others who have been through your situation, you can relate to. So, God bless on that.
And the thing about this whole show, the whole thing, I mean, from the very beginning, when I asked you about childhood and growing up, going through school, right from the gate, Suit Up was there.
Always.
Education. But not just education, but wisdom. Because you got it from your teacher who showed up to your game, who kept you accountable. You got it through all the different programs that you're going through that prepare you for right now, running your nonprofit.
Yeah.
And you're still going to school to get some other things locked in. Before we go, say there's a parent right now who's trying to get their child inspired. Maybe they are just, kids go through the stages. But what words of wisdom will you give a parent to get their kids inspired to dream big, to go after their goals in life? What's some words of wisdom you can give?
There is a program at St. Philip's College called the Early College High School. That is a program that's changing lives on the East Side and in San Antonio. Parents, if you have any children that you want to see excel, become more mature, become settled, and really apply themselves, you may want to consider enrolling them at St. Philip's College. I'm a graduate of St. Philip's College. I have 3 high schoolers at St. Philip's College, the early college high school program. My wife works at St. Philip's, and she's a graduate of St. Philip's. She's getting ready to graduate St. Philip's College next year, and she just got nominated to be representative of the HBCU in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
as well as thank you, yeah. And I'm a former homecoming king. My son is a former homecoming king. So we're very we're very vested into that school. And so the reason why I'm pushing St. Philip's Colleges is because they really care about our young people. Mm-hmm. The difference between those kids being at St. Philip's for 4 years and being at like a public school for 4 years is that they're around college students for 4 years. So they get the college experience while in high school. And then at the end, they get a high school diploma and they get an associate's degree. So what better way to prepare your kid than to already have them jumping that, 4 years ahead already. You know what I'm saying? And so any parent, we have to find ways to get our kids ahead out here. It's not simply just they're graduating high school and you just sending them to college. We have to do scholarships. We have to sit down with them and find ways for them to get more money. And we have to invest in them while they're young. And so St. Philip's College, that's the one thing that's the one place I'm going to push because it's right in the neighborhood. It's right in the middle of all these schools that are getting our kids. And I just really feel like Dr. Lawson and the rest of the staff at St. Philip's, Dr. Thomas, he's the principal. Y'all might want to give him a call and get your kids registered because they are changing lives and they're going to keep changing lives. And as long as I'm alive, I'm going to keep pushing that. So all parents just, think about that when it comes to your education.
Before we let you go, Walter, one more thing I'll have you say to our audience out there. Say there's kids, they're not in San Antonio because iHeartradio, 13 countries, man. It's a lot of schools out there. What words of wisdom will you give to young people in high school, middle school? Words of encouragement, of suiting up. Every day is a day to go at it, go get it. Get hungry. Because if you ain't hungry, you ain't gonna get fat.
Well, like I said, suit up means to get ready. And if you're not ready, opportunity's gonna pass you by. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's always been being at the right place at the right time and, having the right clothes on. Because appearance plays a part in whether people deal with you or not. Yeah. So I either had the right shoes on that day, I had the right outfit on that day, I was smiling that day, I was smelling good that day or something. But whatever happened, it met the right opportunity because I was prepared. And suit up, you have to be prepared, not just in your clothing, your attitude has to be right. When it's time to sit down and do an application, you have to know what you're doing. If somebody just walked up to you and say, hey man, I want to hire you for a job, can you come in right now for an interview? You have to be ready for that interview. And when you get in there, you have to be confident enough to sell yourself. Suit up means having the confidence to know who you are and know where you can go. It's not about, well, I don't know. No, suit up, you gonna know.
Because if you don't know, someone's gonna label you.
Somebody's gonna label you, and so once somebody labels you, it's hard to get that jacket off. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get that jacket off. So you label yourself, and then you live up to what you set for yourself. So if you say you're great, then you live great. Everything you do, be great. Yeah. So kids out there, don't be afraid of who you are, and don't let your parents kill your dreams because they didn't live their lives. A lot of parents killing dreams, trying to live vicariously through their kids. Don't let that happen, kids. Suit up and stay ready.
Man, that is a mic drop moment right there. There's nothing that needs to be said. We cover all bases.
Appreciate it.
So, man, I want to thank Walter Perry be on the show, man, talking about suit up. And it's a lifestyle, man. It's not just a
man, can
service.
I thank y'all real quick?
Yes,
I'll just 10 seconds. Hey, I just want to thank these two here, Miss Deborah. I want to thank these two here, this family, the Reed family. Your last name is Reed, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I want to call you another. I want to thank the Reed family. We met during the Epic, and from the moment we met, they've always been real with me. They've always kept it real. They've always been professional. They took our family photos. They featured me in the magazine before. And I just want to say to San Antonio, if y'all not messing with them, SPS Productions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, SPS Productions, y'all don't know what y'all missing. This is what our culture needs. And I'm telling you right now, these people, they're great people. They're God's people. And they're people that are for the people. And, you know, when I make my announcement, I'm going to make it on here.
Thank you.
Well, you coming back.
Appreciate you.
We're going to have you back, man, because I would like to get you on the show to talk about business, too, and marketing and branding and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Let me see how this 5K come out then.
Oh, yeah.
Once the 5K come out successful, nobody ain't going to be able to tell me nothing about this. But right now, I'm still in the student mode.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I can tell you how my classes are, but let me finish before I start giving out stock tips and all that.
I got you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I got
But we appreciate you.
I appreciate it,
We
too.
appreciate your kind words, too.
God
Thank
bless
you.
everybody out here. Thank you so much.
And just like we always say every single week, and you mentioned it earlier in the show how God works, and you know what? He tied this all perfectly. Keep God first, stay focused, and peace.
Amen.